Yes, guys, in quite remarkable fashion, Liverpool are out of the Champions League. After winning the first leg, going back to Anfield, Paris Saint-Germain are the first team in 40 attempts to then knock Liverpool out of Europe. This is a big moment for PSG. They lost Messi, they lost Neymar, they lost Kylian Mbappe, and yet somehow, in this Paris Saint-Germain rebuild, they're getting better and better and better. Today, I'm going to tell you how, from the players to Luis Enrique to Luis Campos, everything that PSG are doing in this rebuild is making them a better side, more difficult to beat, emphatic on the counter, brilliant going forward. We're going to break it all down today, and Liverpool are out of the Champions League. PSG, could they win it? We're going to go into it now. So obviously PSG haven't won the Champions League yet. They've only knocked out Liverpool in the last 16. But in 2022, to take it way back when Luis Campos was employed by PSG as a footballing advisor, there's plenty of other terms that it could be, but we're going to say footballing advisor today because PSG, when you've got a front three that has Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe, there's obviously massive expectations, and in France, PSG are expected to win the league every year. So a bit like Chelsea pre-2012, the Champions League was, and still very much is, the holy grail for Paris Saint-Germain. Luis Campos came in the summer of 2022. The following year, Lionel Messi leaves, Neymar leaves, and only Kylian Mbappe is left. All of a sudden, you're starting to see what PSG are going to look like today. The introduction of some young players, what Campos is renowned for, bringing in youth to be able to develop into bigger and better sides. Then in the summer of 2024, Kylian Mbappe leaves Paris Saint-Germain for Real Madrid. PSG had a lot of things to be excited about despite losing all of those superstar players. For the longevity of the club and to build something sustainable, you can't just have three names and a complete imbalance when it comes to the side. You defend with 7 players and then you got 3 players all the way up the other end of the pitch. But most importantly, when we start bringing it up to speed and right now, how this PSG side over 2 legs can absolutely dominate this Liverpool side and deservedly go through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. And now for me, looking like one of the favourites to win the competition by hiring Luis Campos, hiring Luis Enrique, getting rid, or not necessarily getting rid, the other players wanted to leave, getting rid and losing the Messis, Neymars and Mbappes of this world. The foundations at PSG are no longer about facilitating having the biggest names in the world. It's about having a manager with a definitive style of play, a work ethic, a humble ethic that means that no one's bigger than the person next to them and everyone's got to fight for the team. So when we see Liverpool and the way they've been so dominant this season, I find it very odd that Arne Slot decides to go a little bit more Klopp-esque in the second leg here at Anfield, and yet Paris Saint-Germain keep themselves a clean sheet. It was a brilliant, disciplined display, and what we're seeing now is the fruits of what it means when you actually go through a rebuild and you don't just tear up everything. Losing Messi, Neymar and Mbappe clearly, as the proof is here, wasn't everything to PSG. But smart recruitment, having a midfield too, Vitinha, Neves, this is a cheat code in football right now. These two are absolutely brilliant. But what you can see, and we're going to go into it now, is that PSG with Campos haven't just gone, youth is the only option. We're only going to buy young players. That's a financially sustainable model. There's balance in there. And when I talk about balance, I'm not just talking about superstars, defenders. I'm talking about the whole team. Look at the ages here of this Paris Saint-Germain side. You've got Donnarumma, who is 26 years old, by the way. I feel like this guy's been around forever. But he's 26, and then across the back line, you've got Achraf Hakimi in his prime, 26, Marquinhos, 30 years old, Pacho, who was absolutely phenomenal at Anfield and in the first leg too. He's 23, Nuno Mendes 22, and then the midfield, a 20-year-old, a 25-year-old and a 28-year-old, and then an attack with 22, 27 and 24. This is very different to what we're seeing, for example, right now at Chelsea, where we don't have your 30-year-old centre-back in the defence to be able to assure everything, bring leadership, bring experience alongside a 23-year-old promising player. Donnarumma, lots of questions about, is he really an elite goalkeeper? Penalty shootouts, We know he's going to deliver. But the performance at Anfield was absolutely brilliant. 2 saves does not tell the whole story. It was this for me. When you look here, 6 aerials out of 6 won. Every single time Liverpool tried to get the ball into the box, they were crossing it in, and guess who would be on the end of it? Whether he was sandwiched by Virgil van Dijk and Liverpool attackers or not, the fist of Gianluigi Donnarumma was getting to every single ball. And it is this extra fight, this determination that really summed up this Paris Saint-Germain side. In the first leg, they were so dominant. But looking now at the performance levels here, all over the field, we are seeing wonderful displays. 8.7 for Donnarumma, 8.4 in the middle for Vitinha. João Neves as well with a 7.8. You've got the sparks up front, the likes of Bradley Barcola, who Chelsea were interested last summer. He goes to PSG, and this kid has just got so much energy. Ousmane Dembele, a player again, scored on the night, waited for his opportunity, but Dembele is now staying fit. This is a big thing for PSG. Kvaratskhelia on the left wing as well, a player that Liverpool also supposedly wanted. But all in all, I want to focus here particularly on the fullbacks, because Nuno Mendes, what a performance from him. 120 minutes played. Look at the heat map. Everywhere, getting forward as well, importantly. Achraf Hakimi, dominant down the right side, and that is up against supposedly the world's best player right now in Mohamed Salah. But in all honesty, over the course of 2 legs of football, Mohamed Salah really didn't have a sniff. And that is up against a 22-year-old young fullback in Nuno Mendes. And I think the credit here really needs to go to Luis Enrique, because one thing that was so visible throughout the entirety of this tie, both in Paris and at Anfield on a Champions League night, to go there and win, even in a penalty shootout, which is a bit of a lottery. Everybody is fighting, and positionally, these Paris Saint-Germain players know everything about where they're supposed to be, what they're supposed to do. There isn't anybody being lazy. There isn't any passengers when the transition is there. If they overload on one side, which they quite often do in like a 3-2-5 build-up, you've got the runs of Achraf Hakimi on this side to split the play, to change everything, to send the Liverpool players over there. No matter where you look in this PSG side, there is quality. Warren Zaire-Emery, Desiree Doué, coming off the bench, Doué brilliant, scoring the final penalty. There's real quality in this Paris Saint-Germain team right now. And I think the scary thing is, Ousmane Dembele going through the middle, is this a long-term solution? Will this Paris Saint-Germain team get even better if they sign a top striker? We know they've wanted to potentially sign Osimhen for a few years. He's available again in the summer. But looking across the 2 legs here, this midfield is just brilliant as well. You've got the industry of Fabian Ruiz, and then you've got Warren Zaire-Emery to come off the bench. They have just built this squad so smartly. And I want to say a massive credit to Paris Saint-Germain for what they've done here. But the question that I asked you lot at the beginning of the video is, can PSG finally win the Champions League? This Liverpool team have been amazing this season. Let's not get anything wrong here. They're going to win the Premier League. Lots of people thought winning 1-0 in Paris, they're going to go through here. Liverpool at Anfield, it should have been straightforward, but no. This PSG team, in comparison to what we have seen of the Paris Saint-Germain sides of old, where they would get to the crunch matches, the big tight games, and they'd lose. They'd bottle it. They'd struggle. I think everything that they've done, I wish and I hope that the Chelsea ownership are looking at the average ages of this PSG team, because you have got brilliant young players, but scattered in there as well, you've got experience. And for me, that was on show at Anfield. And I genuinely believe PSG can go all the way and win this competition this season. Well done to Paris Saint-Germain. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video.